Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hey, it's Robert J. Moore, Next Level. Hello, it's Robert J. Moore from Next Level Coaching. Welcome back to another week. So sometimes people start off from really rotten areas in life. And I'm one of those. I was in a jail. I was living on the streets, alcoholic, drug addict. Where do you begin? Where do you begin to get the credibility to get recognized in order to get along with people, in order to live in society, in order to get recognized? And, how did I get featured in Forbes or win a Guinness World Record? How did I become all over the world, global recognition awards and Forbes awards and all these different awards and everything? How did that happen? I'm just going to give you a brief today. First off, I just started studying people. I studied like 40 of the top achievers in the world. And just to name a few off, Armin Morin, the top strategist in the world. Right now, I'm still working with him today, teaching me marketing, teaching me different aspects on how to do the marketing, how to get more recognized. Satish Verma, another one of my coaches. He's the CEO of Think and Grow Rich. Kyle Wilson, dear friend of mine. I've shared stage with all these people too, and that's the fun part of it. I'll get to that in a minute. He's a founder of Jim Rohn International. He was a partner of Jim Rohn's for 30, 40 years before Jim Rohn died. And Kyle Wilson is just an amazing person, nice, calm person, and beautiful people. He attracts a lot of serious people around him, like Todd Stoudemire, the World Series pitcher. Another good friend of mine. I shared a good stage with him too. We did interviews together, and amazing. It was absolutely amazing, At first, when you meet up with certain people, it's like, you put them on a pedestal. And I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to go through this list. Mark Victor Henson, Jack Canfield from Chicken Soup for the Soul, where I've been invited to write a chapter. And that's an honor, too. They sold the company. They still get 5% of the royalties and everything. That was their deal. But I've shared stage with both of them too. Raymond Aaron from Raymond Aaron Group. Bob Proctor needs no introduction. Tony Robbins needs no introduction. Zig Ziglar, Les Brown, Eric Thomas, Joe Vitale. And Les Brown's daughter I actually coached for 4 years. So now to get to the couple questions that people may ask. How did I get to know these people and know them on a personal level? And, and these are only part of the people. I'm talking like 30, 40, 50 more that I've shared stage with that I know on a personal level that I can actually pick up the phone and actually call them as a friend. When I was in the hospital with COVID for 11 days, I had John Chin call me. He was a CEO, executive producer of Think and Grow Rich, the movie. And it was really nice to hear from his voice and a few other people. James Malinchuk, Undercover Millionaire, he phoned me up and he said, "We need you." And I said, "What do you guys mean by you guys keep saying we need you?" And they said, "Well, you're representing us for the future. The stuff that you're doing, you're representing us." Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas said the same thing. But I'm not going to go through a whole list of people that I know and I can call. I mean, you get the picture. But when you look at the situation, how did I become a guy that gets out of jail that's an alcoholic, trying to straighten his life out, trying to move things forward? Because there's so many questions out there that, like, oh man, I just wish I could have that one break. It's got nothing to do with that one break. It's about you making the move. So I wanted to be a publisher. I didn't know how to become a publisher at first. To back up the train a bit more, to be honest with you, when I was 2005, when I got clean and sober, I went to school. And I ended up getting education. And all my education I did not get to put on my wall. As you see, there's no education on the wall. And the only reason why I did the education was because I felt like I lost myself. And I want to know why the behaviors I was using were part of my life and how I was acting the way I was. I wasn't doing the right thing. I wasn't, like, when someone come at me with, hey, how you doing? I might tell them to F off. Why would I do that? Or, someone do something nice for me. I don't know how to accept the people when they were doing something nice to me before. It was like I had a resentment towards them. And as you all know, resentment's like pissing down your own leg. You're the only one that feels it. So let me look at the situation when I started doing the social service worker diploma. That was a good one to start with me, because I got to focus on social work and how it actually portrays to the world and the communities and the ecosystems and everything else. It was kind of cool. So I just anything I did in school, literally any assignment, any thesis, anything I did in school, I'll reflect back to me. So being homeless, anger management, self-reflection, all the different things I put together. I'm not going to say I did 90% in all my classes. Sometimes I only did 54%. But it was the fact of learning it was the key. So I got social service worker diploma, my addictions degree, my BA in psychology, my master's in counseling psychology, harm reduction, mental health crisis, and 2 honorary doctorate degrees. And the only reason why I got so much is because I think I became addicted to actually doing the education and trying to help out with others at the same time as trying to find me. So what I did was I learned how to find me and I learned how to put that together. It wasn't just through that system, though. It wasn't just through the system of the schooling. I also went to AA, NA, and I did the California 4-Step. I has 300 questions to help you from your youth, teenager, your adult, here and now kind of thing. 300 questions that ask you very much questions that it's intimidating, some of them that you feel. But you got to remember, though, when you do a journal, you're taking responsibility of what's in that journal, because you always think in your mind that when you do a journal, nobody's ever going to see it. So you're taking responsibility and you're putting your deepest, darkest secrets in there. That's like when you do this California 4-Step or the 12 steps, NA or AA, you actually do the same thing. Except the difference is when you do the California 4-Step is that you go through a section and you have someone to read it off to. So otherwise you're taking the responsibility to what you're saying on that level. So it could be anybody you trust. It could be anybody you don't know. To me, getting the stuff out of my chest, I didn't really care who it was. And I didn't care if they used it against me at the time, because I was feeling so much pain and I was suffering so much that it didn't bother me who knew what when I came out. Because I knew I could handle it. Somehow or another, I knew I could handle it. So I did that. I did the California 4-Step. I did the 12 steps of AA. And then the guy looked at me when I did the 4-Step. The 4-Step is doing a moral inventory of yourself. And that's when you get really in depth. You just pull out all the juice and the gory and why it's keeping me drinking, why it's keeping my behavior negative and stuff like that. So the 5th step is when you actually talk to a person and you're actually telling that person that, hey, listen, this is what I went through. This is why I kept me drinking and drugging and whatever it may be. Here's the thing. I was literally crying when I was doing it. When I was telling the person the stuff, I was crying. It's snot flying all over the place. Not to get gory, but I mean seriously, tears. I was feeling like feeling relief, but at the same time, I was hurt because of the stuff I did. He looks at me and says, "That's it? That kept you drinking and drugging all these years? That kept you, wanting to be so negative and be against people?" And he gave me a minute to digest that. And it's like, I thought to myself, I'd like to smash this guy's teeth down his throat. But he's right, because what he said next really put me in perspective. What he said next was, there are people out there that have done worse that made it. How come you're being, hard on yourself and not allowing yourself to make it? So we went out to the fire pit. We actually burnt the paperwork. And he just says, go home. For the next 2-3 days, you're probably going to have it's called emotional hangover, because you go through so many different emotions with it. He said, try and digest them, try and walk through it. Don't do anything stressful or anything like that. Just try and digest. And I became a better person because of that. It was like the worst of the worst, but I had, like E.T. says, it's sweeter on the other side, but you have to make it through that smoke. So here's the thing. How did I get from there, being a better person, starting to learn how to do the education, and then I become an addiction counselor because I thought, okay, well, hey, I was a drug addict, alcoholic. I could do this. I mean, it can't be that hard. When I started getting into perspective of the circle of medicine and everything else, and it's like, holy cow, am I really cut out for this? I had to learn all that. The stuff in the brain, and it was totally different from what I thought it was. But finally, I passed. I didn't pass it in extremely high grades, but I mean, I passed it to understand it. That was my goal. And then I did the BA in psychology, and I did all the other education. But remember, I didn't do it to try and achieve, oh, look at me kind of thing. I did it because I wanted to find out why I was portraying that attitude towards people. Why did I hate people so much that I had to be negative and be such an a-hole? Well, it's because I didn't like myself. It was hard on myself, so I'm taking it out on everybody else. Once I got past that, and I started looking at the perspectives of things, I started liking people. I started hanging around more people, started doing things with more people. Then I become addiction counselor. I opened up my own shop. I did that for 12 years. At the same time, I was also doing therapy, because I had my master's in psychology. So I'm helping people out. I learned how, through this whole process. I didn't realize this, but I'm learning how to read people through their tone, through how they write things in an email or on paper, to their facial expressions, physiology of the expressions of the face, the body language. So I've learned how to do all that. And then it's like, wow, I didn't realize I knew that stuff. So when I started working with people, I started saying, okay, well, I started off with like groups. I started doing, 10 people at a group at first, then 50, then 100. And I felt that wasn't being as benefit as I could be, because if you're working with 50 or 100 people, you're given the basics. You can't get to everybody and help them out truly. So I backed up the training. I started doing individual training and just doing speaking on the side. So what I did was, when I opened up the shop, I started working with people and working with their problems. I mean, I had a 90-year-old man come up to me and tell me he was an alcoholic and he wanted to quit drinking. He's in his 90s. You know what I mean? I said, what's the reason why you want to quit now? I got drunk and hit my wife. Okay. You're 90 years old. You quit drinking now, you might go through the DTs and you'll be dead in a week. You got to be very careful when you come off that booze or the drugs and that, because you could die from the DTs. It's very crucial to get to the hospital. But we did help him out. It was his wish, so we did help him out. Myself and the detox, got him in the detox, and that helped him out. So, but how did I go from there, helping people out in an office, to wanting to be a bigger picture? Well, I wrote my first book. I said, I'm going to put all my story out there. I said, I thought to myself, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to be famous like all these people out there. I'm going to be rich, and I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. I'm going to be New York Times bestseller. Better back up the train first, because an average author only sells about 250 books in their lifetime if they don't do it right. Now, wrote the book, got it out there. No publisher wanted to do it. No publisher wanted to take me on. They said I was a risk, blah, blah, blah. I had nothing to back me up. So I opened up my own publishing company as years went on. I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to work all that. So I kind of worked with Kyle Wilson because he has a publishing company. And him and I worked side by side, do some things on the side. I actually got into one of his books with some of the famous people that he knows. And that started my journey, basically, of, being able to get people to connect with me. Because then I went to Armin Moore, and I said, I would love to send you my book if you can maybe do a forward for me. I didn't even know what a forward was. I'll tell you how I knew how a forward was. There's a guy named Forrest, right? And he's here in Canada. He actually worked side by side with Jack Canfield for the longest time. And he says, Robert, he says, I know you've done your first book. He says, you got it out there. He says, that's amazing. He goes, listen, I want to learn how to do a book. He says, can I meet up with you? So I helped him with Baseballs Don't Bounce. That was his first book. And he's got me in there. And I helped him out with that book. And Jack Canfield actually did the forward for it. He probably helped him more because of his name than anything, but he ended up becoming the #1 internationally best-selling author. I said, well, that was cool. He goes, would you like to become that? And I said, yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. So he did a forward for me for my next book. But what I also didn't know is he nominated me in the UK for Author of the Year. And I won that. Now, I don't mind going to the UK, flying out there doing this stuff, but I mean, I'm like next to broke. Second of all, I got all this history in and out of jail I have not taken care of yet. It's taken me 11 years to actually go out of my way to make this happen. To actually try and get a pardon, to actually get on a plane and be able to fly. And it's weird because when I found out that they talked to me and said they invited me to the UK, that I want an award and I should be able to be there. It's a black tie event that I have to be there to accept it, and there's no exceptions. I said right off the bat, no matter what, I'll be there. With my heart, body, and soul, I said that. And it was crazy because as soon as I got off the call with them, I thought to myself, well, how's that really going to happen? I still have a pardon. I got to get rid of this pardon. I've been trying my best, and that's like 3 weeks away. And I've been waiting 11 years to get rid of this pardon. So I prayed. I actually prayed. I prayed. And at that point in time, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not believe in God. I did not believe in God. I thought God was against me for all the things I've done. I didn't have much trust. And they told me good orderly direction. So I put it as that. And I said, basically whatever I had to say, I don't remember what I said. It wasn't till a week before I actually was able to go to the event. I went down and I actually paid for the flight. I said, well, I'm going to try going no matter what, because somehow or another I was able to get my passport, but I didn't have that pardon yet. I said, they're not going to check me out anyway, so I'm going to go pay for it, and non-refundable. I made sure it was non-refundable because I wanted to make sure I can't back out. About a week before I left, the back of my car was an envelope. Okay, well, the wrong address on it. It was the wrong address on it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who put it there. Nobody knows. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, there was my pardon. I don't know how this happened or how it went down. They told me it would still be at least 2 years to do it. So I ended up getting my pardon. It was the weirdest thing. It was crazy. And I was talking to several friends of mine that are police officers, and they said, there's no way you're going to get a pardon with this record. I mean, you got way too much crap on there. But I ended up getting it. And I'm blessed to not screw that up. 19 years clean and sober. But when I put that book out there and I asked people, listen, I want to have a forward. I'll send you the book. Believe it or not, I sent them all the same book. I just didn't tell them what book I was sending. I didn't rewrite a book. It was a series of books I was doing for my business. And I just gave them all the same book. I said, can you do a forward? Can you do a forward? Can you do a forward? I must have went through 20, 30 people, and I got 10 of them sitting there saying yes. So basically, it went from there, and it happened. And I got to know one person to another. Then I started hosting events. When I started hosting events, my PR told me, Robert, you know this is going to be huge. This is huge. I mean, you're going to put a lot of money out there. If it doesn't go well, if you don't fill up the room, you're going to really be sour about this. Like, I told him about my first event. I bought enough food for 300 people. And when I did the event, I guess I didn't know much about, marketing at that time. 4 people showed up. 4. That's it. And it's like, wow, what do I do now? Well, here's the thing. I put the food around the whole place so the acoustics in the room wouldn't sound so loud. And I had the 4 people sit in front of each other while I got up there and speak. And I was talking to the potato salad over here, sitting there saying yes. And I said, like, oh, you in the red, or the person beside you, I see you both agree to me because you're shaking your nod in your head. Thank you very much. I said, it feels good to be, blah, blah, blah. And then I went from there, and I look at the camera. I look at the people in front of me, the 4 that were only there, but I made it seem like the room was full. So when I got done, I asked all 4 of these people, can you do me a favor? Can you do a review, like a video review in a few seconds, telling you how the event was, but act like it was a full house? So they did. They did, and they're, not a problem. It worked out really well, and I was blessed that they did that. So when I got online, I didn't tell, I only had 4 people. I wasn't negative about it. So I made it sound like, man, it was full house. You guys should have been there, man. Sorry you guys couldn't come. It was absolutely amazing. Next thing you know, I had 25 people the next time, then 50 people, and then I was able to fill rooms of 200. You know what I mean? That's how I did the Guinness World Records. I did Guinness World Records, and there was like 200 people in that room. And that's cool. I did the awards ceremony, 250 people in that room. So it was nice to be able to do that, because what I did was I invited these top people in the world. See, I'm an outside box thinker. That's one of the biggest things I do is I outside box think. I don't tell people what I'm doing. When I go quiet for a while on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever I'm at, or YouTube or wherever, what happens is I'm giving you information here and there, just kind of sliding a couple things out, giving you hints. And then when I come back in, I hit you with a spoon there. Boom, there it is. There's a huge thing. I'm outside the box thinking. I mean, there's a lot of publishers out there. A lot. So what can I do differently that's going to help bring you guys to me? That's when I did the Guinness World Record. And I did chapters, help people out, or individual counseling or coaching. You know what I mean? Like, I help people out through different things that actually brought me to an amazing level. But I got lonely at the top. Seriously, I got lonely at the top because I basically forgot to bring people with me. So what did I do? I sold that business. I bought this business here. Like, I opened it up, put it together, put all the legwork behind it. And what I did was I told people, and which I'm telling people even now, that I'm building this business to help people with their passion, to build their passion to that next level. Because you know what? A lot of people focus too much on the money. You focus on the money, it's like focusing on the bills. You're always going to be broke. So let's focus on the passion, build that passion up, give people a solution to a problem, let them come to you, let them work with you. Obviously, you're going to get paid. You're not doing it for free at the end, but you're giving people a solution to a problem. If you want to build a program, if you want to put things together and sit there and say, hey, listen, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I would like your input. Well, now you're getting input from the people that really desire who you are and what you're doing, or they feel good about the fact that they're doing something with you, especially sharing stages with you, or doing an online event with you. You know what I mean? Because they know you're bringing the top players in the world to that stage. And they're speaking along. Now they can sit there and say, hey, listen, I just spoke on stage with Robert J. Moore. I just spoke on stage with Eric Thomas. I just spoke on stage with Mark Victor Henson or Jack Canfield or, you know, Tony Robbins or one of these people that, you know, I could talk about. It goes a long way for that credibility. So that's how I built myself up. That's how I built myself up to the level I'm at right now. And if there's anything out there that, I don't care if you're a millionaire, I don't care if you're a billionaire, I don't care if you're broke, I don't care if you're a middle person, I don't care what you're doing. But if you sit there and you want to work with me and you want to find out, hey, listen, someone that's not going to be, you know, disrespecting you for being at the lowest of the lows, or someone that's going to be, hey, listen, do it this way. No, I don't do it that way. I want to find out where you are and help you get to where you need to be. It's nothing to do with, hey, listen, I tried that, that's not going to work. I'll give you examples. You know what I mean? Give you examples, you pick the winner. And that's the difference. You're picking the way you want to do things. I'm just giving you the guidance to get there. That's one of the biggest things. This week here on Monday coming up, I'll be honest with you, you're going to love this. I'm actually being told I'm being sent a draft for another feature in Forbes. This will be my second feature in Forbes, and I'm really liking this. You know what I mean? So I want to teach people how to get to that level, how to get them in Forbes, how to get the credibility, how to work things through that they could be the best they can be. I really look forward to working with somebody that really wants to work together. I really look forward to helping people out and empowering other people and working things to the best of their knowledge and giving them the tools to handle things that come along their way. I want to say thank you very kindly again, and I hope to see you again soon. Or I hope to meet with you soon, or hope to talk to you soon. And stay blessed. See you again next week. Cheers.